This is Unusable. I'm Tyler Martin.
I'm Ben Steinberg. This is going to be an interesting show. We've got a show in store for you.
Certainly the show of this time period.
Yes. Is it the show you're looking for? No guarantees. But it is.
Some guarantees that it isn't.
For many people, they're going to watch this and go, no, not for me. Oh, this is, no. But for the few people that do watch this, thank you. Just thank you. Not even trying to be clever. Thank you for the few people who do watch this. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, so everyone, welcome to our corner of the metaverse. I hope you all have your Meta VR glasses, because this is going to be in your face.
I actually know somebody who tried to start a podcast that would be in VR, and there was just so much lag and like people talking over each other that it did not work out at all. And here's a problem is I know so few people. I have such a small group of friends in my life that it's my friend Elliot who tried to start that podcast. But the problem is if I keep mentioning him every single episode, it sort of starts to sound like, oh, there's just this guy I know who just does all these different things and tells me about them, as opposed to me knowing actual people.
Like a human person with human experiences telling another human about them.
Telling another...
Yeah, suspect.
A human with human experiences.
Elliot.
A human with human experiences telling another human without human experiences what his human experiences were like.
I mean, you keep talking about him, soon enough he'll Beetlejuice his way into this podcast.
Yeah, seriously. He listened to our first episode. He was like, thanks for mentioning me. And I want to be like, you're probably going to be mentioned in several more going forward, because you are pretty much my only connection with the outside world. That's how much of a hermit I am. Anyway, so this is Unusable, and that was Unusable. Let's begin. So, what do you think? Are we living in a simulation? Come on.
I mean, yes, but it's the only simulation, so it is only also actuality. If there's nothing but the simulation, then the simulation is into itself not simulating anything.
I knew I could count on you for a unique take, because it wasn't a yes or no. It was, well, I mean, even if it is, then that's just where we're in. So what's the what do you want me to do with that? I
it's
like
simulating.
I do think if it is a simulation, it's a very boring simulation with there's a lot of crying in this simulation. I think there's too much. I guess that's what makes it feel real, though, is the emotions.
Yeah, it's all to the earth. That's how they get in there.
Tears?
Yep.
That people are called salt of the earth because they cry so much.
And they turn around way too often to look back.
Oh, I see. Sodom and Gomorrah.
Like Job's wife or whatever.
I think you're mixing up two different fables. And also his name was Job. Right?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
So if there's a simulation, is God also a simulation? Is the concept of God also a simulation?
Yeah, I mean, because there's there's thousands of gods. So yeah, everyone's thinking they have their own version of the simulation, but it's just, some people are just in a different, subsector.
I am deeply regretting asking us to talk about this.
But can't get philosophical, Ben. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get it.
Let's proceed. Let's keep going forward. So, I guess I simulate not getting laid a lot. That's part of my simulation. There's there's just pretty much no women in my life for the last several years. That's but because it's a simulation, it doesn't feel as bad.
I feel like that's a very incel take to say I simulate not getting laid instead of I simulate avoiding human contact.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Maybe it is my outlook, my simulated outlook.
I simulate being disappointed by women.
Yeah, as opposed to I simulate going out into the world and trying my best. God forbid I ever simulate doing that.
What's the difference between simulating and cosplaying? I feel like if you're in a simulation, everything you do isn't another simulation within the simulation. It's just a iteration of the simulation.
So you're saying, wait, what are you saying?
Look, all I'm saying is The Sims have the best language, and we should really adopt that as the universal language. I think English is over. I think the simulation has run out of real words, and it's time to just convey it with bibbities and bobbities.
Simese, not Siamese, Simese or Simnese, the language of the Sims. When I played The Sims, they used to show like a woman in the shower, like she'd shower. I would tell her to shower so many times just to just to just to get a glimpse. I
Yeah,
felt so evil every
and
time.
she had no skin after like, I mean, I feel like 40 showers in a day. You run out of skin or natural oils. You had to take so many supplements. Like, and you had to build a whole. You had to get the supplement store. You know, DLC.
I think she showered so much she drowned. Normally, like you can leave them in a pool, and if you take out like the steps out of the pool, they'll just swim until they drown. But I think I made this person shower so much that she just drowned in the shower, basically.
Like a turkey.
What do you mean, like a turkey?
Bah. Just
Huh?
just opened her mouth and got clean on the inside.
What? What are you talking about?
Drowned. The only way to drown is to inundate yourself with water.
Yeah, but how is that like a turkey?
Because turkeys, when it rains or wherever, they like they just like look up and like leave their head, like open their mouths or something.
I didn't know that. They do that?
Oh, yeah. In this simulation.
That's a weird behavior for turkeys to do.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think, like, they're always so, like, moist when you buy them in the package?
Oh, it's because of that water retention. That's rainwater in the package, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's I'm trying not to stop the flow of this, but I don't know where to go. Like, I think every episode I get a little better at trying to sort of keep the conversation going, but sometimes we're talking about rain, like turkey rainwater in a package that what okay.
And that's why every year we say, have a moist Thanksgiving.
Okay, see now we just don't say that.
Why not?
I don't know why not.
In my DLC pack of the simulation, it is said.
It is said.
Between me and my 7 families, we all say, have a moist Thanksgiving. Moist be upon you. And then we just throw brine at each other until we, just have to disperse.
Whoever's covered in the most brine gets cooked.
Yep. The second most gets cranberry sauced.
I like that kind of Thanksgiving where you just sort of slowly sacrifice your whole family until there's no one left.
Yeah, the Midsommar of
Exactly.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
What was interesting about that movie was if you do the math, since they sacrifice a member of their like cult every year, if you do the math, they do not replenish enough cult members each year to make up for the fact they have lost one.
What do you mean? They just inherited like 6 people. But then they started killing them, so I don't know. Yeah,
Exactly,
you're right. Yeah,
exactly.
that's on them. They really need to work on their retention, you know.
Exactly. I mean, I know like the movie was like a metaphor for like a breakup, but
Oh, was
within,
it?
yeah, apparently, but within the, maybe, I don't know.
Break up with reality?
Yeah, let's
Or,
just,
you know, the simulation, I guess.
let's just say it was a metaphor for a breakup. Um, Killing the people who come to visit you and sacrificing them. Well, I guess that is sort of a metaphor. Is like you do lose your friend group a little bit if you break up with somebody, if they're friends with that person. But for a horror movie, I don't know if I don't know if a horror movie has ever looked so ridiculous as Midsommar. I like that movie a lot, but just watching them like get dressed up as animals or covered in flowers and watching everybody be happy and then the main character be miserable while she's covered in a bunch of flowers, I couldn't help but laugh at just what an absurd looking situation the entire
Well,
thing was.
that's the thing, right? It's like like you can find beauty, but sometimes the beauty is just covering up stuff. You put on this facade, right? That like the veneer of like flowers and happy, and we're all a family and we're all sharing, but like underneath there's like this darkness, right? Like people ask, "Are you okay?" You know, after a breakup, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm doing all right," but you know, like, do they really want to hear the full answer of like, no, I feel like I'm in a simulation where dating just doesn't work for me.
Sometimes yes does mean no.
It's problematic then.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's why I said it.
Oh wait,
Because
that's
it's
actually not problematic. That's the opposite. I think that's a good job. You did it. My bad.
what?
I misread it.
Oh, see now. Okay, now I'm riding high on confusing you. So
I've
there
never
you
been confused. I think we've established this
right in the
already.
previous.
It's canon.
Yeah, in episode 3, you told me you've never been confused in your life,
Hmm.
which I said I think that explains why everyone else around you is confused instead.
Someone
By
needs to be confused at all times. It's important.
someone needs things explained to them.
You just have to, if you read the manual for the simulation, it's right there.
That's kind of brilliant. Yeah. At any given moment, it's like D&D rules. It's like at any given moment, roll between a D. I don't know D&D rules. Why am I trying to? I played Baldur's Gate, but that doesn't mean I know D&D rules.
I was wondering where that was going.
At any given moment, one member of your party must be in a permanent state of confusion about something, and when they try to articulate it, they can't. I gotta blow my nose.
And our first nose blow ad break of, I don't know, the podcast goes out to our advertiser from Mayday Labs. Every time you enter an airplane, you might see a Mayday Lab product
Mayday
at the
Labs.
bottom of the ocean. Mayday Labs. Enjoy yourself on the way down.
Mayday Labs. Our black boxes will outlast you. Mayday Labs. That's nice and morbid too.
Black boxes for your white wedding.
So we've established that we either are or are not in a simulation, and that's good to be in that place that we either are or are not in one. In fact, I read on IGN a while ago that I don't know why IGN is telling us about the fact that we might live in a simulation, but IGN said there's a 50% chance that we live in a simulation.
That's a very astute article, I'm sure, based on lots of facts. 50%, the equivalent of not saying anything at all.
Well, exactly. It's like saying, "Hey, did you know that it either is or is not raining outside?" It's like, "Wow, that's really useful information. Thank you for telling me that."
Schrodinger's article.
Exactly.
This either is or is not worth writing.
Schrodinger's article. Jesus, if there's anything we'll keep from this episode, it's that, because that is legitimately a hilarious idea. Schrodinger's article, an article that may or may not be worth writing.
And those are thoughts that I have, but sometimes, you know, there's thoughts that you might never have. who's thinking those thoughts? Anybody or nobody? Schrodinger's thoughts.
Right. Are there thoughts you will never have? I mean, there must be, but we don't know what they are. Because if you know what they are, that means you've thought them.
What if you've had them, but you don't remember you've had them? So have you ever had them?
Yeah, you've had them. And now you don't even know if you've had them, even though you have had them, which just adds another layer of thoughts that you'll never. For example, someone once asked me, I was talking to somebody 10 years ago, and she was just not paying attention to me at all. And in the middle of me talking to her, she said, "So what era of clothing is your favorite?"
Did she list them so you knew which eras to pick from?
Yeah, she was like, so, I mean, like 30s, 40s, 60s, 70s. What era of clothing is your favorite? And I couldn't give her an adequate answer because those thoughts, that train of thoughts, those opinions had never, ever entered my mind until she randomly asked me while I was in the middle of talking to her about something work related. And so it made me realize, well, what else is out there that's like never, ever going to enter my mind? Obviously, that was a thought that I eventually had because she pushed it into my brain. But
Well,
like,
obviously the only answer is Victorian era.
Victorian's pretty cool.
That's good. I mean, nowadays where everyone can wear Victorian style clothing. Where back in the
Yes.
day it was a caste system of clothing.
Right. But I can't help but feel as though even the lowest caste system clothing was still more proper than like a lot of the stuff we wear today. It was like they just wore pants and sweated to death.
Yeah, but they didn't know you could have a t-shirt.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, everybody was very skinny back then, so it was a little more tolerable. You could wear long, tight pants because you hadn't just been gorging yourself on Cheetos for the past 5 years. So there was a bit of, you were able to dissipate heat more easily than someone who was fatter. Victorian era.
That is definitely a hallmark of the Victorian era was everyone was extremely skinny.
I mean, it was a hallmark of
Slender people.
it was a hallmark of Earth until around the 1950s that most people were pretty skinny and thus did not have as much problem dissipating heat.
What are you talking about, dude? There's fat people all up in all sorts of art from all the times. I
That's why I
mean,
said
they make the fertility dolls and they fat.
that's why I said most. That's why I said most. I didn't say all people. Obviously, the Venus of whatever, she was letting it all hang out. But
Yeah, she let those arms hang out the windows. Apparently, fell off.
yeah, well, sometimes you're just not noticing their arms. Yeah, the Venus. What's it called? The Venus of
DeMilo.
Venus de Milo.
Yeah.
Oh, that. I'm thinking of something else.
What are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of like
The
that.
Venus razor.
Hang on. I gotta.
He's
Yeah.
got to reference his notes that he already previously took on this subject.
So the Venus de Milo, which you're talking about, is an ancient Greek statue. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
Venus of Willendorf,
Who the
which
fuck is that?
which it was a fertility statue. It was a tiny
Venus of will.i.am.
it was a tiny Paleolithic statue of a female figure discovered in Australia, and she was like fat and had large breasts and had her arms on here. So once again, talking at cross purposes, thinking we're talking about the same thing, talking about something completely different, two different kinds of Venuses.
Look, so you're having a thought that I've never experienced, and I'm having a thought that you've probably experienced.
Right, but see, now we've both had both of those thoughts, so now those can't count as thoughts we'll never have.
Now they cancel out and they were never existed.
Neither of us thought those things just now. Add it to the pile of things we'll never think about.
I can't.
Exactly, because you did think about it. We both thought about it. So isn't that an interesting conundrum?
No.
No? No? Okay. All right. Okay, the one time I ask you a question, you don't do the yes and thing. You just go, no. No, it's not interesting. Fuck off. All right. All right. I zig, you zag. I get it. That's fine. That's fine. I'll play the straight man. That's fine. No, I do think that was a very funny response.
Now, speaking of thoughts,
Yes?
I
No.
always think that if something hasn't been acknowledged, then it doesn't exist.
Huh?
So if you think of a spider planet somewhere out there,
Spider Planet?
yeah, now you've acknowledged its existence, so it now has the probability of existing. Whereas if it's never been thought about of its existence, the probability of it actually existing is next to none because it's not known whether it even could exist in this simulation.
Spider Planet.
Yeah. You want to go there?
As it okay, but when you say Spider Planet, do you
Best
mean
eggs.
a planet of spiders?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Like Planet of the Apes, but like spiders?
Planet of the spiders. Yes, no. Once you think of a spider planet, it may exist. There's a non-zero chance of it existing
Must
now.
possibly exist. Anything that gets thought of must possibly exist, somewhere potentially. But if it
Exactly.
hasn't been thought of, the potential of it existing makes it so that it probably doesn't exist because it's not been acknowledged in its existence. Like, the way Marty McFly faded out of existence because no one was acknowledging him in the future.
I mean, nobody acknowledges me these days, but I haven't faded out of existence. I'm still doing this thing with you every Monday.
I'm keeping you around, man.
I do
Yep.
appreciate that. Thank you. You are the only proof that I exist.
Yeah, I love when you call me and you're like, dude, my hand is transparent. I'm like, get on the fucking mic, bro.
Yeah, man. I have been afraid of disappearing many times, and you have brought me back from the brink of disappearance by doing this podcast with me. That's the reason why I wanted to do this with you in the first place, is because I was fading into nothing.
Disappearance saves disappearance.
What was that?
This appearance saves disappearance.
This appearance saves disappearance.
Uh-huh.
Prevents disappearance. I agree.
Uh,
I worded it in a clunkier way than you did for whatever reason, but I agree. Disappearance saves disappearance. Yeah, man. And in a way, that's what this whole podcast is. It's just to acknowledge that I exist.
yes. I'm actually just a construct of the simulation for you, Truman. Someone thought of me at some point, and then I potentially existed, and then I did. That's every person. You're nothing until you're thought of, and then you're potentially something.
Yeah, most people are nothing even when they exist.
Though, if we really want to get into it, nothing is also something, so.
That's true. And the multiverse is one thing. It's not
Well,
multiple things. It's just one thing.
yeah, it's a simulation.
Yeah,
We
man.
just haven't figured out a way to access the next level.
Yeah, no, we're stuck on level 1 of like the Mario world.
Keep eating mushrooms and fucking flagpoles.
I mean, hey, when Mario eats a mushroom, he gets bigger. That means he has a slightly better view of everything. I do think there's a metaphor there.
I did it all for Tanuki. For Tanuki. For Tanuki.
Did you, I did it. I did it all for. Dude, I love that. That short circuited my brain. I'm like, that's like one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard. I did it all for Tanuki. So you can stick that fire flower up your. Nah, it's not as good.
Should we just end on that?